Alright everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're here for some more APA action. Week number 3, going up against Codeman and his Portland Prinplups. He is 1-1. He lost week 1, but then he got like a 6-0 with Tapu Koko. Maybe it was a 5-0. I don't know. Anyway, Tapu Koko swept. That's all I know. So, I guess I should... well, I guess it's... Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I just had to grab a picture of his team real quick. He's got Tapu Koko, Dracovish, Corviknight, Alolan Marowak, Hippowdon, Roserade, Scrafty, Archeops, Deoxys Defense, Ambipom, and Mega Blastoise. So a lot of pretty big threats here. At first, we were going to battle really early in the week, but then I'm like, I just don't feel comfortable with this team, and I really want to run it by some people and ask other people's opinions about it. I got to give a big shout out to Sun, DL Sunny, whatever he goes by, for helping me out in this build because I was just confused at what I wanted to do. Basically, I really thought, Mega Scizor is terrible against a lot of this team. Dracovish is awful, or can really pretty much 1v1 it. Iron Defense Corviknight, or just in general, Corviknight could be annoying. Colbert Marowak could come. I was convinced that that was a possibility. Hippowdon can roar me out if I try to set up. Mega Blastoise is kind of annoying for it, so I just assumed that Mega Scizor had a bad matchup. And what else? Like Tapu Koko is pretty good against me if certain things on my team get weakened. Yeah, Dracovish is tough to deal with, of course. Mega Blastoise I don't have very many switch-ins for. Even the team I'm bringing right now, I don't have many switch-ins for it, so can be tough. Deoxys Defense can be pretty interesting. I don't know exactly what it wants to do. Roserade can be a threat, so definitely a lot of Pokemon in there that we have to deal with one way or another. So this is the team I'll be bringing. I revised it, and yeah, let's get right into it. We have defensive Slowbro here. This was initially Shaman. The problem with Shaman is that Synthesis only heals 25% in the sand. And Sandrush, if he does bring Sandrush Dracovish with the Hippowdon, which I am kind of predicting he does, I'll be in the sand because this Pokemon is here for Dracovish, just like Shaman would have been here for Dracovish. And trying to synthesis up in the sand just wouldn't be working. So it would be giving me 25%, and if I had leftovers, it would be canceled out by the sand. So it's very, very underwhelming. Whereas Slowbro can just slack off. I can actually take the hits a little better. And while this Pokemon is bad because of Tapu Koko, it's bad for Roserade. Even Alolan Marowak can do a lot of damage with Poltergeist. Dark Pulse Mega Blastoise is annoying. Scrafty is annoying. So there are a bunch of Pokemon that can deal with this. I still really need it because I feel like without it, Dracovish is a huge problem. In my earlier mocks, Shaman just was not surviving very long, and because of that, I felt like Slowbro is worth the investment to bring here. We just have to hope he doesn't bring too many things for this Pokemon. But yeah, Teleport, Psyshock, Scald, Slack Off. I had Toxic, I switched to Slack Off just because I don't want to get too whittled. I want this Pokemon. I want to make sure this Pokemon stays alive, basically, for Dracovish in the late game. So yeah, I was thinking about debating going no item so I could beat Marowak, but I have something else for Marowak, so I would rather just have the Rocky Helmet there to be able to chip away at Dracovish. Next up is Mega Scizor. This is the Pokemon I really did not think I was going to bring, and I didn't have it in my initial build. I had Cinderace instead. But I changed it because, again, Sun kind of convinced me that it was a good thing to bring here. I have Spit F, so I can take hits pretty well from definitely Roserade and Blastoise. I guess Tapu Koko. Big yawn. Sorry. But yeah, because I already have really good physical defense, so investing in Spit F kind of makes me a wall all around. I know Archeops can run Heat Wave. By the way, Slowbro is pretty nice for Archeops as well. I know Archeops can run Heat Wave, but if I Bullet Punch it, it's probably gonna knock it under half, and then Heat Wave's just not doing that much. So because of his defeatist ability. But yeah, this set is pretty good as long as he doesn't run a phasing Hippowdon or Iron Defense Corviknight. I do have something else for Iron Defense Corviknight though, so that's no problem. But even if he does phase me with Hippowdon, getting off like a knockoff, just whittling that thing, hopefully we can get a Toxic off on it at some point, and then it won't become an issue. But we'll definitely have to look out for that thing if it does have Roar, or just Fire Fang, because Fire Fang can burn me. But yeah, we got to watch out for burns from Blastoise Scalds, or just like confuses from Water Pulse. So, but other than that, this Pokemon should be able to beat Blastoise 1v1. Yeah. So next up is the Jolteon with the Air Balloon or Max Speed to Speed Tie with Coco, and this set's basically here to kind of catch him off guard. I hit everything pretty damn well outside of Roserade, but that's okay. I had wait, what did I have? I think my first item I had on here was Magnet, and I switched it to Shucka, and then I pretty much immediately switched it back to Air Balloon. Because Air Balloon is much better here, because if he runs like Stealth Rocks, Slack Off, Earthquake, and Roar, or maybe Stealth Rocks, Slack Off, Earthquake, and Toxic, I don't know. He's probably not going to have much for Jolteon. So he'll see the Air Balloon, but he'll probably still switch into Hippowdon if he has Roar or Toxic, just to try to be in against me. He'll switch in, get the sand up, and then I'll Rain Dance that turn, so that the rain is up, and then I can Weather Ball him. Now, if he does switch in and I get the rain up, I'm probably going to predict the switch out and go for Thunder, because he's probably going to know that Weather Ball is coming. Even if he doesn't, there isn't much that I'm expecting Hippowdon to do to me. If he Fire Fangs me, it's not going to do a lot because I'm in rain. So that's like the most he could do, honestly. And then once he breaks my Air Balloon, then he can Earthquake me, which is an issue. But I'm thinking he'd want to predict the Weather Ball and then go into Dracovish, and he's going to have a Sun Boost or a Rain Boosted Vicious Rend. And if it is Scarf and not Sandrush for whatever reason, that could be really scary. So, but yeah, Jolteon is here for just some DPS. Well, DPT, damage per turn, I guess. With the Thunder being 100% accurate in the rain. Hopefully gonna put in some work with this Pokemon. Fun little set. I debated Shadow Ball because it'll hit Alolan Marowak and Deoxys, but I can Weather Ball Alolan Marowak in the rain anyway for a lot of good damage there. So this Pokemon is also nice as just a fast pivot. If Hippowdon is dead or dying, then or just not there in the matchup, then we can Volt Switch around with this Pokemon pretty easily. Next up is Glygar Spadef. Mainly for Coco. I need something for Coco. If he runs like Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Roost, and Stored Power, we're in a pretty bad spot. But yeah, I was debating Sandveiled on this Pokemon, but that was before I switched my other set that I'm about to show right after this one. That's before I switched that set. Because I had a Cleric. But then once I lost the Cleric, I had to go Immunity, so I can't get Toxic, which is great. It's pretty nice for, like I said, Coco. It's pretty nice for Roserade. I can switch into Hippowdon really easily. Corviknight can't really do much to me, unless I let it bulk up on me. Deoxys Defense, I mean, I guess it could knock off. I got like 5 hours of sleep. That's not a lot for me. Usually I get like 9 hours of sleep. So, but yeah, I think Deoxys gets knockoff, but he's got a lot of knockoff users now that I'm looking at it. He's got Marowak, Scrafty, Archeops, Deoxys, Ambipom. That's a lot of knockoff users. So that can be annoying for this Pokemon, but it's mainly he's just here for the Coco, because I know he'll try to bring that Pokemon and do a lot of annoying stuff with it. Next up is Tillamook, whatever. My Miltank, with the Chople Berry. Thick Fat, for pretty much Alolan Marowak. This is my answer. This is also the Pokemon that I think Shaman, I don't know. Either the Shaman that I had or the Miltank. One of them had Heal Bell / Aromatherapy. So that's why I had Sandveil on Glygar kind of take advantage of the sand if he brings it, but then I switched that, so I had to go to immunity. Anyway, we have Toxic Earthquake, Milk Drink, Body Slam. This is my only Toxic user on the team, so I gotta make sure I can spread some poisons around. Really hoping he doesn't bring Corviknight, but I really think that Pokemon comes. I honestly don't see why it wouldn't. It's pretty damn good, so we gotta watch out for that for sure. And this is Fizdef for Alola Marowak. I mean, we have answers for pretty much all of his offensive threats. Ambipom could be actually pretty annoying if he does bring it. That's something that we have to watch out for. Archeops could be annoying. If my Eviolite gets knocked off with Gligar, Tapu Koko could be annoying. But we just have to play well. We have to play around things and make good predictions, and hopefully the battle goes in our favor. This is a pretty obvious set, though. Pretty standard stuff. No need for Stealth Rocks, because I feel like he'll bring he has a lot of hazards. He's got Stealth Rocks on Marowak, Stealth Rocks on Hippowdon, Toxic Spikes and Spikes on Roserade, Stealth Rocks on Archeops, Spikes and Stealth Rocks on Deoxys Defense. So he's got a lot of hazard options, and I have Defog on Gligar, so I just figured there's no real reason to ring Brun. Oh my, I said ring and then Brun. There's no reason to bring Stealth Rocks. This is a pretty easy set here. Last but not least, I have the Gengar. I had wise glasses, and then I took that off because that's kind of dumb. Speed creeping Roserade here, because that's the next fastest Pokemon. So that's good. Colbur Berry, just because certain things, like I'll be able to take a knockoff from Ambipom, so I can stay in against the Ambipom, which is great. So if he predicts a switch and U-turns, that's good for me too. Like Deoxys Defense, I can take a knockoff from pretty fine, no big deal. Not sure if I can take it from Scrafty, or, well, I should still be able to take it from Scrafty or Archeops. Maybe not even Alolan Marowak, I don't know. But he won't really knock off against his Pokemon with that thing. But yeah, we're basically just here to, you know, 4 attacks, Gengar. I mean, take a hit hopefully and just kill him with another one. You know, that's basically the gist. I can deal with Corviknight with Thunderbolt, you know, Dazzling Gleams for Scrafty, which makes the Colbur Berry a little bit more relevant because he could bring Roselie Berry, Spadef, Scrafty just for this Gengar. If he does that, then we also have the Colbur Berry, so we'll be able to deal with that pretty well there. So that is the team. I'm going to pause the video right here. I'm going to hop on over to the replay of the battle. Like I said, we were supposed to have this battle earlier in the week, but I didn't want to do that because I wasn't comfortable with the team. We revised a little bit more. So if I make any changes before the battle, I will let you know shortly. And yeah, we're going to hop right into it. Wish me luck, and I will see you guys in the battle. Alright, here we are in the battle, going up against Codeman and his Portland Prinplups. Before we get started, he does have, my opponent here had he was actually streaming the battle on Twitch. Obviously wasn't watching because I didn't know what this channel was, but I watched the battle afterwards. I watched a replay of it, yeah, and it was, I don't know, I enjoyed it. You know, seeing what your opponent was thinking during the battle, the opposite commentary, it was pretty cool. I don't get to see that a lot, so it was cool. I'll leave a link to his Twitch in the description below if you want to check that out. That was pretty cool to see. So, yeah, he brings a team of Mega Blastoise, Tapu Koko, Dracovish, Hippowdon, Marowak, Alola, and Deoxys Defense. Not too surprised about anything really here. The one thing is Corviknight not being here, which is really opens up Mega Scizor. Ambipom not being here is also good because that thing gave me some problems in a few of my mocks. And what else? No Roserade, just fine. No Scrafty, no Archeops. That's about it. So yeah, Sandrush and Dracovish probably coming since I see the Hippo. But yeah, nothing too crazy. So let's go ahead and turn the music off first and start the battle right now. I'm gonna lead Miltank. I took a while to do my lead. I was dealing with something else at the time, so you know, I kind of forgot that I didn't have rocks on here, but it's fine too. He leads with Mega Blastoise and Flip turns, which is fine with me. I go for Toxic turn 1 because it's very free against this team since he didn't bring Corviknight. I missed the Toxic against the Marowak. That's fine. This is a surprising switch, in my opinion, because he can't really do much to me. He's going to sub here as I Earthquake. And he goes for the Power Punch, which is fine because I have a Chople Berry, which obviously he didn't know beforehand. So in theory, it would have worked out. But yeah, Earthquake is just there for the Marowak. So I'm going to Earthquake again. The switch was pretty obvious, but I didn't want to overpredict. He was at +1, and that Flibbless would have done a decent chunk to me. Even Power Punch would have done a decent chunk. So yeah, I get the Toxic off on him, which is great. He gets up rocks, that's fine. I'm gonna bring in Glygar as he roars. Um, his only knockoff users are Marowak and Deoxys, and I don't think he has knockoff on Marowak since he's already shown Substitute and Power Punch, so he probably just has Dual Stab. So I get roared into Slowbro, which is great because I know he's not going to want to stay in. So I go for a Teleport as he brings in the Coco, which is fine with me. I can get in Fang up here and just go for a quick Defog. He does go into Blastoise, which is fine. I don't really have a good switch in for this Pokemon, and seeing how he's fast, he might also be offensive. So I'm going to pivot into Slowbro, see what he does. He goes for Water Pulse. This damage tells me he's like not offensive at all. So he's got some speed. He's got a good amount of speed, but he doesn't have any special attack advancement, which is good to know. That means he's probably more of a defensive set. I'm going to scout for Dark Pulse here. He does have Dark Pulse, so that's good to know. Obviously, as he's not going to go for Water Pulse, just praying that I don't get the Confuse on him. And I do not, so do not get confused. I'm going to get a Roost off here, and then I'm going to predict him to switch or flip turn either way. And I'm going to knock off here. I was actually... Oh, wait, no, I don't. I Swords Dance. That's interesting. No, that's later in the game when I knock off. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to now go for a knockoff because I know he's going to roar. There's no point in trying to set up on this. I consider Roost, but I'd rather just knock off his Smooth Rock, which is really good for the future potential late game Dracovish. We don't want to deal with that. So yeah, he brings in Blastoise here as I just Milk Drink. It's very free. So far we've seen Stealth Rock's roar. He probably just has Earthquake and Slack Off, to be honest, which is great because you can't hit Jolteon with that set. So he does get the Water Pulse Confusion. Again, I don't really have any dedicated switch in other than maybe Mega Scizor. Well, it is Mega Scizor, but I wanted to stay in and try to get a Toxic off. He does get a Confusion, but I do land the Toxic, so that's good. Good job, Miltank. I take a Water Pulse there with the Mega Scizor, and it's getting into a dangerous range, but I'm willing to risk the 20% Confusion there just to get off a Roost here. And I knew he wouldn't want to get set up on. I knew the Roost was pretty obvious there. Gives him a free switch into Marowak. I almost clicked knockoff here, but then I realized he could be speed invested, and it turned out he was. He was like 196 Jolly. So here I kind of make stupid plays here. I go for Milk Drink, as I let him get a Flare Blitz burn on me. I mean, it was free just to Milk Drink there. I really thought he'd switch, but he actually stayed in. I don't know. And then I click Earthquake, which is just silly because, I mean, it probably would have killed. Maybe, yeah, it would have killed still, but the switch was pretty obvious at that point. I thought, but then again, the turn before he stayed in, so I don't know. And then I switch when my Miltank's at 11%, which is just weird because I could have gotten a free Milk Drink off on that Pokemon, and he gets a free Teleport right into the Vish. Which is fine. I don't know this Pokemon's set at this point. He could be Super Fang, I don't know. But he goes for his Vicious Rend. At first I thought that I didn't have Slack Off. I thought that I had Toxic instead, which was really alarming, but then I realized I had Slack Off, so I didn't really care if he had the Super Fang. I'm going to go for the Teleport here, as the switch out is obvious, even if you went for Leech Life. You know, judging by that much damage, he's like Jolly Life Orb. We already know he's Life Orb, so... But judging how little it did, it's probably Jolly. So I basically get a, free Teleport off into Gligar, and then I can defog the Spike away, and then get a free switch into Scizor, as he's probably going to either knock off or Spike again. He probably doesn't have the Fire Punch coverage on the Deoxys at this point. So I get a free Swords Dance off at that point. And I go for knockoff and knock out the Hippowdon. And he goes into Marowak, which is fine because I know he has way too much. Well, that Earthquake on Miltank. No, the Earthquake onto the Marowak from the Miltank did way too much for him to be bulky enough to load that Bullet Punch. He goes into the Dracovish, and he was jolly, so I definitely could have stayed in and clicked Bullet Punch there, and potentially 2-hit him. Maybe. It would have been close, depending on his bulk. Yeah, I don't think I would have 2-hit him, because he had a little bit of bulk, I remember. But yeah, he's going to fish this Ren into the Crunch. I knew he was going to stay in at that point because he was just kind of losing slowly. He had to make a move, maybe get a crit, maybe a defense drop, who knows. But, I mean, I'm just going to be able to slack off there and then easy teleport right into my Glygar. There's no way he stayed in with Dracovish there, and even if he did, he dies to Rocky Helmet plus Life Orb, and then I get a free switch into whatever I want. So, I'm going to defog this Spikes away. This is just kind of rinse and repeat, do the same thing that I've been doing. Only difference is that I go into Mega Scizor this time instead of Tillamook because Tillamook's almost dead. So I did want to keep it around though, just in case I could Milk Drink at some point against Deoxys. And here I switched out because I didn't want Scizor to potentially get confused. I'd rather just switch around and just wait for Blastoise to die to Toxic. Water Pulse does about half, and I'm able to Volt Switch. Hippowdon's dead, so it's no problem. I go to Gengar. I'm thinking, honestly, at this point, I thought it was Specs the way he was playing it. I don't know. It was just like he wasn't U-turning against my Gligar, but then I realized this dude can set up. So he goes for Calm Mind. I'm like, shoot. But as long as he doesn't have Iron Defense, we should be good. Because Earthquake will do like minimum 57% to him. So, yeah. But he does switch into Deoxys Defense there, which is great news because that means I can just bring in Slowbro, no problem, and then I can teleport right out as he teleports fast because he's faster than me, so he's gonna get. I'm gonna get negative priority there, and I get in Gengar knowing this Pokemon's set. I can deal with it pretty well with the Gengar because I know the electric terrain turns. It's gonna end here, so Thunderbolt does do more than stored power at this point. I get the Cursed Body on him. Doesn't really matter. He had the Kebia Berry, so that was something that I wasn't predicting, but I'm like, you kind of have something for Gengar, though, right? Maybe not, but he did have the Kebia Berry there. So, yeah, he goes into the Deoxys, and this might be a little, I don't know, toxic or whatever. I just kind of take a few turns to let Scizor get the kills because Scizor already had 2 kills here, and I know that it's 6-0'd last week, so I'm just trying to get as many kills for the for the MVP race, I guess. I clicked knockoff there. It looked he didn't have leftovers, so he might have had Colbur Berry here. Wouldn't make too much sense because my Dark type is Zorua, but Mega Scizor is famous for using knockoff, so I Swords Dance there again because I didn't want to risk not killing him and then him dying to Toxic. That would just be annoying. I wanted Mega Scizor to get the last 2 kills, so that's why game took a few extra turns just because of that. But that's okay. GG to Codeman. We do get the 6-0. The game just really went my way. I mean, kind of, with the teleport, with the switching around it was mainly just Gligar and Slowbro. Since he had no knockoff users, Deoxys didn't have knockoff, Marowak didn't have knockoff. The one thing that could have been threatening was the Mega Blastoise. If the Mega Blastoise was, like, offensive, it would have given my team a lot of problems. But he did bring a more bulky, speedy-ish set. He had enough speed for basically Miltank or Shaman that didn't have speed investment. So it made sense, but at the same time, if you're going to do that, you might as well just go max special attack modest and start punching holes through my team because I didn't really have anything for that. I did have Mega Scizor, but, with the 20% confusion rate and it, Water Pulses probably would have done close to half to my Mega Scizor if he was offensive. It would have been a problem for sure. So, but because he was defensive, we could kind of play around that really well. Just with Mega Scizor pretty much, and nothing else was really a threat. The biggest thing was Calm Mind, Tapu Koko, but again, Gligar was right there, and I had that easily pretty much with Gligar. I kept my Gligar pretty healthy, and that was the key to victory against the Koko. If he was Calm Mind, Roost, Thunderbolt, and Stored Power. If he was Iron Defense instead of Thunderbolt, he probably would have lost to my Scizor because I was still Spit F at that point. If I saw Iron Dance or Iron Defense um, as I Earthquake with Glygar, I would have U-turned out the next turn as he probably clicks Roost or maybe another Calm Mind. I get in Mega Scizor. It's still kind of scary because he's got a lot of boost at that point. So I don't know. It would have been close for sure, but he was not Iron Defense, so it is what it is. We are going to get the heck out of here now, or I am at least. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are 2-1 here with the plus 10 differential, so definitely good differential there. 2 6-0 back-to-back 6-0. I think that's the first time I've done that. Mega Scizor is just too strong. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, and I will see you guys in the next video.